Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at a character from the second wave of vintage collection figures for 2024, Clone Commander Rex Bracca Mission. So at last, we finally have a proper Captain Rex in the vintage collection. This is without a doubt one of the most popular characters from the animated series and possibly in the franchise. I am personally a big fan of Captain Rex in the 501st, so I am very happy to finally have a proper version of this figure to take photos of. And just looking at him in a quick comparison to the other ones, he is absolutely fantastic. They've done a great job upgrading this figure, using that new clone body to, get us a proper Captain Rex. And yeah, I can't be more excited about this figure. He is, unfortunately, part of our Bad Batch collection, which we only have one member of the Bad Batch, but we have two versions of Captain Rex on a Bad Batch card, which is a little bit annoying in my personal opinion, and Hasbro really needs to do a much better job about that. And if you're curious, mine came from GameStop. I've got a bunch of different things coming in right now, mostly from GameStop, a little bit of Amazon, and Entertainment Earth is actually shipping my full case of this wave, which has Leia, X-Wing pilot Luke, R2, Vader, and the Stormtroopers. So, pretty cool to see these finally shipping out. But with that being said, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and let's take a closer look at Clone Commander Rex. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Bad Batch logo prominently displayed up top, followed by Clone Commander Rex on a nice blue name pill color. And the funny thing about this card back is actually the name pill itself. It says Clone Commander Rex, and the events of the Bad Batch are after Order 66. And Rex was actually demoted during Order 66 because he helped Ahsoka off that Republic cruiser, and Jesse and all the other clones considered him a traitor, so he was bumped down to not even captain. They were pretty much going to kill him. So, kind of funny, and even in the Bad Batch, they refer to him as Captain Rex. So, this is just one of those minor details that they kind of overlooked. Regardless, we have a fantastic image of him here from the show in that scrapyard with the Republic cruiser behind him, looking pretty dang good in my opinion, with the Kenner logo down below. And then we have this nice character on a bubble looking very, very good. On the back, he is VC 317 in the line, Clone Commander Rex Bracca Mission, and we have a small description of the character followed by the Vintage Collection logo down below and additional images of the card back and figure. So all in all, I'm happy to add another figure to my Bad Batch carded collection, especially a modern version of Captain Rex. But Hasbro, come on, let's finish the 99. Get the Bad Batch into the vintage collection. It's been far too long and we really need those figures now. Taking a look at Rex out of the packaging, I have got to say thank you to the Star Wars team for finally getting us a proper version of this character in the vintage collection. He looks really great and very happy to have this one. Taking a look at his portrait, looks pretty good. We're very familiar with these clones by now, and this one looks just as good as the others. Although there's a little detail here where you can see that scar on his head, and that's where his Order 66 chip was removed, so that's a very nice attention to detail there for Rex. And then in terms of the hair color, I think it looks pretty good. It could have been maybe a shade or two lighter, just so it looks like a very close buzz cut, but it doesn't really bother me too much. And then, of course, we have the swappable helmet, which is made of the hard plastic, which all you have to do to put that on is remove the portrait like so. Just pop it off, line everything up, and then put this barbell into that neck joint. And there you go. We have a proper helmet, nicely sized, unlike those plastic swappable ones that we were seeing. And this one has an articulated rangefinder and has some really good detail on it. All the paintwork looks fantastic, and yeah, all in all, they've done a very nice job here with this figure. Taking a look at the articulation, Rex has a lot of what we've been seeing with our modern vintage collection figures, and especially the new clone sculpt, which he is essentially a partial retool and repaint of that figure. He has the new style barbell hips, of course, and a soft goods comma, which does not hinder any of that movement, which is fantastic. He's got a swivel at the thigh, a ball jointed knee, which goes definitely back to 90 degrees, which is fantastic, and he also has rocker ankles, so in terms of lower leg articulation, he's going to be able to do a lot of great posing. He's got these soft plastic holsters which do not get in the way, which is nice to see. He's got a bit of a crunch here, so he can get some pretty good movement there as well, and he's of course got ball jointed shoulders, elbows, hinges at the wrist. He's got that soft plastic armor here that can go back a little and not hinder any of that movement as well. The only thing I will say is that he has hands that are not my favorite. So I'm pretty sure these are actually the hands from the Bad Batch version, which used the VC45 sculpt. Pretty sure everything else is the new clone body. But for some reason they went with those hands, because I think these ones have the trigger finger for both hands, which they opted to not make new clone hands that, kind of do that. Because if you take a look at this figure compared to, say, one of the newer clones, the hand is actually a bit bigger. So, therefore they opted to do that. Now my problem with that is that he's got the hinge here that allows this to go up and down, which I think is perfect for pistols and like sabers and stuff like that. But then this one is one of those go in like that, which that doesn't do anything for me. Rex is not going to be aiming like that too much, so I don't know. I prefer the up and down versus the side to side, but it is not a deal breaker in my opinion. And then, of course, the head is on a barbell, and it's got some pretty good range of motion. Of course, the pauldron gets a little bit in the way, but that is not a deal breaker. And then, taking a look at all the paint applications, they're done really nicely. He could have used maybe a little bit of weathering, but I bought several of these, and I plan to weather up at least one of them. You can see some more detail back here, and yeah, all in all, pretty solid addition to the line. And taking a look at Rex compared to the previous releases, there is definitely no competition here. This is the Black Series 3.75 version that originally came out, and then later we have the VC45 mold that they used for this Bad Batch version of Rex, which really wasn't that long ago, about a year, 2 years now. Yeah, this one was pretty awful when they put this out. It's got a plastic comma, swivel hips, and just, it wasn't a great figure. They put it on a Vintage Collection card. Fans were just not happy to have this. We really wanted a proper Rex in the Vintage Collection. And then, yeah, we were seeing a lot of VC45 repaints, and, it was cool to kind of get this character. He has a poncho, which I took off here. And yeah, when you look back at it, VC45 just does not compete with this new clone mold. So very happy that they moved on from that. This one, I actually swapped the pauldron with the other figure over there and actually updated his helmet to give it a rangefinder and took off the night vision binoculars because I wanted this to be like my definitive version. But clearly it's been replaced, and clearly even Rex thought that was ridiculous of me to pass that off as definitive. So yeah, and you can just see that that helmet also looks pretty bad compared to the version that we have here with Rex. So huge upgrade in my opinion. Now there's a couple things that I still think could maybe be improved upon. I've never been a big fan of the pistol that's being used for our clones right now. I think it's a little bit undersized. It needs to be somewhere between what we had here with the first version and what we got going on now. And then on top of it, his belt here. You can see that the other previous version had a couple ammo pouches on that, and there are details like that that are missing from this figure, but for the most part, I think this is a 99% done definitive Captain Rex, so very happy to have this one added to the collection. I've got to say that it's a relief to finally have a definitive version of this character in the Vintage Collection, but it's starting to become extremely frustrating that we only have one member of Clone Force 99 on a Bad Batch card. Hasbro, please send assistance. Hunter is all alone and needs backup ASAP. With all that said, Rex looks great. He has the soft goods comma, his signature pauldron, and I'm happy to see a sculpted helmet with working rangefinder in place of the old plastic removable version. All of the paint apps look spot on, and I think it was a nice touch to add the scar from his inhibitor chip removal that ties in well to the Bracca cardback image, which is the episode where he leads the team to a Republic warship to remove their chips as well. Rex comes fully loaded with all the modern articulation one needs to lead the 501st into battle and achieve a plethora of action poses. This is a must-have for any fan of the 501st or Clone Wars. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to our Vintage Collection 501st displays Clone Commander Rex Bracca Mission from the Bad Batch. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.